Hello and welcome to my channel. I have another question today, and the question is, how old was Moses when he died? According to Deuteronomy 34 verse 7, Moses was 120 years old when he died, yet his eyes were not weak nor his strength gone. How was Moses able to live to 120? And how was Moses able to live to 120 yet still have his strength and vitality? The life of Moses can be divided into 3 periods of 40 years. According to Acts chapter 7 verse 23, for the first 40 years of his life, Moses was essentially a member of the Egyptian royal family. Once Moses determined to side with the people of Israel instead of the Egyptians, he was forced to live in exile for the next 40 years of his life. After returning to Egypt to free the nation of Israel from slavery, Moses lived another 40 years. So Moses was a prince for 40 years, an exiled shepherd for 40 years, and then the leader of a nation of freed slaves for 40 years. One would think that Moses learned as a prince of Egypt for 40 years was what prepared him to be Israel's leader during the 40 years of wilderness wanderings. But the Lord also wanted Moses to learn humility. Moses' 40 years as a shepherd taught him to be humble and to rely on the Lord. Numbers 12 verse 3 declares, Now Moses was a very humble man, more humble than anyone else on the face of the earth. Moses' experience and training during the first 80 years of his life prepared him to be Israel's leader. But it was his face-to-face relationship with God that truly made Moses a powerful and godly leader. It is interesting to note that when Moses died at the age of 120, he did not die of old age. This is despite the fact that by Moses' day, the typical lifespan was much shorter than 120. Moses had been supernaturally strengthened and protected from the effects of aging. He died because God had completed what he had planned for Moses. God had used Moses to deliver the Israelites from slavery into Egypt, record God's law, and deliver the Israelites to the borders of the Promised Land. Because of Moses' failure to obey the Lord in Numbers chapter 20 verse 1 to 12, God did not allow Moses to enter the Promised Land with the Israelites. So when the Israelites were ready to enter and take possession of the land, Moses went up to Mount Nebo, and saw the land from an overlook, and then the Lord took him home. The 120 years of Moses' life are a perfect example of a follower of God being indestructible until God's plan for him or her is completed. Thank you for listening to this question, and I'll see you next time.